Hello and welcome. Today is October 28th, and we're here for Cardano4Climate Friday GTPBL meeting. The moon is 3 days young, waxing crescent in Sagittarius, and Catalyst is in cool down, and the Cardano epoch is 372. This is the Gimbal Labs tokenomics group where we talk C4C stuff and tokenomics. In the chat are the meeting agenda and previous meeting agendas, the Miroboard for tokenomics, the Sprint planning board, and the Dework site. And let's make sure that all of those in there. And we've done our check-ins and we're ready for our next agenda item. I'm doing the scribe and admin, and Nori is facilitating. Hello and welcome. Hi, YouTube.
All right, I'm going to share my screen. Hold on, let me make sure that everything's good. All right, welcome to our Friday meeting of the C4C Gimbal Labs Token PBL Experiment. Today we have sprint number 1 to talk about on our agenda, and then website. And I just threw this on the agenda, whether we want to take a break next week as a community with lots of people out. Catalyst is in cool down mode. Maybe we should follow suit and give everybody a little bit of time off next week, and then we can regroup for sprint number 2. Just reviewing the agenda from last week. We kicked off the sprint. We went through the sprint planning board and decided we were going to start 2-week sprints. And it was pretty close to what we're talking about this week. We touched on the website stuff, and then we talked about the closeout report and monthly reporting for Fund 8, which got done. And you can refer to the agenda from last week if you want more details. Anything else we missed from that agenda? Or anything else we want to add to today's agenda that's not on there?
The big thing that I took from last week was just that we started with the user stories, and I hope that we get into the user stories this week.
Okay. Let me actually bring that up. We have.
You're going to show me exactly how to do it, right, Nori?
Yes, we are.
Yes, that's perfect.
I would love if we have time, if we have a few minutes, just to go with you all about the room that we have C4C, and to see if you have any ideas for that for the conference.
Yeah, the Cardano Summit. Okay.
Yeah. Which is part of the sprint anyway.
Okay, so let's jump into the sprint. A quick overview. At the beginning of this week, we kicked off on Monday our sprint planning meeting. Tuesday, we're changing from our pure event plan, or our core team meeting, to story gathering plus Wednesday meetup planning, which we did. We gathered some stories. Tuesdays are going to be used for that. And then Wednesdays are still our weekly meetup. Thursdays our focus day with no team meetings, and then Friday, C4C GTPBL. Today, next week, it'll be demo day and reflection. So that is kind of the flavor of the 2 weeks per sprint. And we set 3 goals for this sprint. So the first goal is C4C at Cardano Summits. The second goal is Finalize Fund7 and 8 accounting. And then the third goal is clarity on impact onboarding and collaboration standards, which are our 2 remaining funded proposals. So that's our sprint at a high level. We started working in Dework for our sprint. We're using the C4C coordination space right now to create our user stories. We have a user story template here, which is basically sets out the user story Y as a so-and-so. I want XYZ, so that, and then condition satisfaction, any other notes. So if you click on this 3 dots up in the corner here and go to duplicate, you can copy the template and then you can start creating your own user story. So that's kind of how that's mapped out. And we have all of these user stories that have been collected this week. So the first one is fill out the CF form for the awards category. Create a list of community impact at the Cardano Summit. Create agenda and list of impact events at Lausanne. Create data from Fund 8 for calculating shares for payout. Collect wallet addresses from C4C contributors. Create a C4C welcome packet for newcomers. Social media plan for impact onboarding. And then clean up Dework, plan for community collaboration standards, and copy the accounting information to new spreadsheet, although that's not part of Sprint1 yet. So anything that's tagged with Sprint1 are things that we said we would work on over the next 2 weeks. So that's kind of at a high level where we've gotten to.
So anybody can work on those, right?
Yeah.
If you claim the task, does that mean it's taken over, or can you have multiple people work on it?
You can have multiple, like, let's just do an example. This one is set for direct claiming, but if you want to change it to multiple submissions, then multiple people can work on it. So if you're coming in and you see somebody's already claimed it and you want to contribute, you can change it to multiple submissions if you're part of this group. And then you can submit your work. So that's one way to do it. Other ones are clearly really small, isolated tasks, and those are fine with direct claiming. And looks like we have one submission already for welcome packet for newcomers.
Nice.
So that's awesome, Cole. So we're seeing people starting to take tasks. But yeah, the idea is jump in if you feel like you can contribute, add to any of these stories, put your name on it. And one way to do it is assignee. You select assignee and then you click yourself, but you can select multiple assignees, which allows multiple people to work on it at the same time. So that's kind of how Dework kind of tracks all that.
Nice. I still have to work through the time stamping. Newman, I saw you've done some work on that. Maybe at some point or another we look at that. It's not a big deal right now, but I know a lot of these things are ongoing, and I'm not going to panic and rush to get stuff done all at once. You know, we're just going to keep plugging away at this stuff. The time stamping is one of them, and I'll take a better look at it. Winter is coming. Dework will be much easier to work on when it's not so busy.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah, and the other thing is, if you start working on a task, just drag it into the in progress column so we can see what people are working on actively and add your name to the assignee. And then if you're jumping in and looking for something to do, just take a look at everything in the to-do column, because that should be stuff that nobody's yet started.
Nice.
And the goal is to get all of these stories done over the 2-week sprint, and we're a week in now, so by the end of next week is kind of the goal to get some of this done.
So it seems like an awful lot of work. Seems like more things than are possible to get done in a sprint, and I'm wondering if that's why everybody's burnt out.
Maybe some of the stuff is stuff that people are already working on and planning to get done, like the summit stuff.
Mm-hmm. So the summit one should actually be in progress, isn't it?
Yeah. So there,
yeah.
I've put in the like I guess that's a comment with this spreadsheet of the local summits.
So that would be considered it's a submission, right?
Well,
work.
I do. Yeah, there's like the claiming of the task. I guess I was like shying away from claiming the task. It sounds
But so it's good to know what to do though. So
You can
If
add
you
stuff
just
as you
changed,
go to the comments like Newman's doing. The submission should be the conditions of satisfaction and a summary of
okay,
this is proving that it's done according to the conditions of satisfaction.
but it is in progress though, right? This
Yeah,
task?
it should be. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Now
you did the right thing by not claim. How did that work though? Claim task. So Newman claims the task.
I'm going to do that now.
Yeah.
So he claims the task. He's starting to work on it. You've just changed it to multiple people can
Yeah.
work on it, Nori. Perfect. Okay. We'll get this figured out.
And then I changed it. Yeah.
I just moved one to actually done, like that I did already. So I moved it to done.
Okay. So that's the Lausanne track stuff.
The application, yeah, because we needed to send for the award, right? We needed to send for the award, Cardano4Climate award submission. So I sent it on Tuesday already.
So the done ones seem like the columns really big.
We need to clear that out.
Okay.
We're probably gonna delete a lot of these. So yeah, if you're done, put it into the in review column just so that we can keep them separate and then we can see.
Okay. Now I need to find.
Because they'll get lost in the done one for now.
Exactly. Yeah. I just
So
moved
you
it
said
down.
delete them though. Does that all that information? Where does it go? Does it go archive?
Yeah, maybe an archive would be better. Like another column which is archive.
Yeah. Good idea.
Because there's going to be work that templates and things that we'll want to use again, right? Records of links.
Yeah, although a lot of this is kind of, we're still trying to figure out how to use Dework. So a lot of it is kind of playing around with the tool, but there's stuff around the community meetings and different things. But let me take that away as kind of a to-do for the Dework kind of cleaning up. We need to figure out what to do with it.
Yeah, okay. But for now, instead of putting in the done column, we put it in there in review so that we can see. Because otherwise it looks like, yeah, we haven't done anything and we've done a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And if you're coming in and looking for something to do, ideally, if it's well managed, you click on this Open Tasks tab and you can see all the stuff that nobody's claimed yet. And then you can go through and look at that or see what might be interesting by bringing up the details.
Okay. Community suggestions, there's nothing yet?
No, we haven't talked about how we want to use this yet. Basically, you can add a suggestion, which is any text, and then anybody who signed into Dework can vote up if they like it. So it's like a +1. And then it kind of sorts based on votes. So things can float to the top that more people think are important.
Cool.
And
that'd be
but
really
we're not
good to
using
have.
that for anything.
It'd be good to have on our forms, you know, when you're collecting feedback, then just saying, you know, there's this other tool that we can use in Dework. If you've ever got a suggestion outside of this form or other things, put it in there and we'll watch it. Let's float it to the top and join our team.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe we can use it for Fund 10 for people to drop ideas in to say, here's what I think we should do as a community. And then people can put in their opinions.
That's so much better than it coming from the top down. So much better.
Do people get notifications when something's added to community suggestions, or do we actively have to check in, you know, periodically to check if there's anything there?
I think it is set up that community suggestions send a message. Oh, we can do that. So I haven't done it since we haven't used it, but we can connect it to our Discord group, pick a channel where we want to put it, and it'll notify anytime there's a new suggestion.
That's great. One thing about the upcoming summit, do you have any idea of people within the community who will be presenting, or at least have a stall or a pitch or a stage at their respective events? Because at the moment we have a welcome packet, but do we have an idea of if any of the community are actually speaking?
Lawrence
so
is.
that's what this ticket is for, is to collect all that information, because we want to present it before the summit to say, here's all the impact events, speakers, booths that are happening at either Lausanne, the main summit, or anywhere around the world. So I think next steps we need, like the conditions of satisfaction, is a list of all the community events around the world, including Lausanne, list of impact events, presentations happening at each summit location, a way of contacting the host event organizer so I can propose an impact presentation if there is none yet. So we're trying to organize all that information through this ticket. And yeah, that's why I think multiple submissions is good, because that's a lot of work for one person. But if multiple people kind of work on it and try to gather that information together, that would be really helpful.
And if there's a link to maybe a G drive where you keep a lot of information, where people who are presenting will be able to source information out, so there's consistency. And actually a repository where people who have done presentations can then say, this was my presentation that I gave, and you know, so they can share that to the wider community, because they're all going to be different and flavored by where they are and by who delivered it. So that'd be good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Newman has started a spreadsheet here of the Cardano Summit local conferences, so we can add tabs here. We can do all sorts of different things to collect it.
And Nori, if you wouldn't mind, check on the info tab of that spreadsheet and see if I've got the Summit Miroboard link there, because that's also, no, I need to put that in. That's also a spot where people can quickly put down, where, what they're planning on, if there's a plan for them to do.
Because that brings up Lawrence, asking in the Telegram chat. He's been selected as a speaker, and he wants a list of impact projects, things that he can be fed. I think that's what you're talking about, TP, right? Is, what's the information that we want to share about Cardano4Climate? Where's the truth? Where's the depository?
We've been talking with Lawrence about the Toronto meetup, and he's going to be putting up a C4C booth with some handouts and different things. So he's coming to our weekly Wednesday meetups, and we're kind of coordinating on the summit stuff with him.
Yeah, and sorry, no, go ahead, Joram.
One big project that we discussed to do and so on is we need somehow to centralize all this information in a website, right?
Yeah.
But kind of the website includes a lot of the key information that is there, but it's a big project. So I think building something good takes time, and it's out of planning.
One of our sprints, it's an ongoing piece, but the focus right now would be for what can we collect for the summit. It's almost like when Dr. Mihaela came to us and said, give me something to show at this next meeting. Give me a recording.
And it was very successful. She said that it was the best, by the way. Again, she said it was the best session in the event. Everyone came back to her afterwards.
Very nice.
And,
but it's nice to have the access to that already done.
Yeah. And
then it's like, here's the link. Oh, you need something to present? Here, this is what's going on in your community, your impact community. Cole, I'm sorry, I haven't seen that video yet. Is that going to be something usable?
What video? Sorry.
I think it's why we're here in C4C.
It's so nice.
That's a really cool video. We got some really good responses, and then Yoram sent a response, and I think a few others are sending their responses. So I'm gonna do a second cut and add everyone else's responses, and I just figured make that kind of get people pushed a little bit to send their responses, and then just show.
Because one of my big plans, and maybe I can get some of that done this week, is to go through our old videos and pick out little spots, pick out important things that have been going on. I don't know if I'll get it done.
Yeah, but now I give you back on that. Yeah, I mean, if you just record 20 seconds of you or 30 seconds, I mean, it's so nice, the video that he did, Cole. you know, 4 or 5 James was there, and this. I mean, just it's really cool. I love it.
Yeah. It was nice to
So-
see Pike too.
Yeah, I was really hyped to see that
Yeah,
as well.
Pike was amazing. Yeah, amazing.
Can you drop the link in one more time, Cole?
Yes,
I'm
of
gonna
course.
open it up
Yeah.
on my laptop and watch it after the meeting.
Of course. Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, and what you need just made me say, yeah, I have to do mine, and I didn't went quick. I did mine, so yeah, it's really cool if you.
Did
everyone
it go
does.
in the main Telegram chat to remind people to do that?
I did send a message saying that we're still taking submissions, but I'll repost that message because people probably missed that as well.
Where do they send these submissions to?
Here, I'll drop the link into this chat so we all have it too. Just give me one moment. I just gotta find the form.
Okay. So we're about a little over halfway through the meeting. We talked about the summit bit. We also have as goals finalizing the Fund 7 and 8 accounting. So we have a ticket in Dework where we're going to go back through all the meetings that ran from June 1st through September 30th and kind of highlight facilitators, scribe, admin, other things. And we also need to figure out a way to call out like additional sprint work. We weren't running sprints back then, but things we want to recognize that were done by different people. So this one needs to be done by many eyes, I think. But
Absolutely. And can we have it? Do we have a document for that? Is that going to
Not
be the
yet.
record of records? Because I've already started that.
Yeah, I have that spreadsheet that I brought last week, and I can take it out and break it out by the 9 2-week chunks that are June 1st through September 30th.
Perfect.
And then we can start to fill that out based on whatever, because we're going to have to go back and mine all of our agenda notes and maybe look at videos and do all that kind of stuff.
I've gone to my laptop and I've got stacks and stacks of recordings, right? And the chats. So, you know, a lot of information I'd like to be able to put somewhere else and clear it up. A lot of collecting.
Yeah, that would be great. And our goal is to get that all kind of hopefully gathered together by end of next week. And then maybe we can start to go, okay, for June, these are kind of the incentive payouts and start to send some of that out.
So can you assign me to this task? Or did you already? There I am. One up. Yep.
And then I'll assign myself too, because I'm going to be working on that big spreadsheet. Okay.
And I think I've got
And
that
then,
spreadsheet here.
Oh, you have a link to it? Awesome.
Yeah.
And for Fund 7, do you need any help with that, Melanie?
Well, I haven't worked, to be honest, I haven't done anything more on it. I was starting to slug my way through these videos and chats because there's a lot of information that I don't want to lose. And I don't think I'll go through them again this way. Probably the help that I would need is to simplify this huge task. You know, I've got all these things and how do I get into a routine? Because what I can end up doing is getting too detailed to begin with, instead of, you know, with this and start one by one by one, but maybe I have to look at it a different way. So that's definitely something I could use some help with.
And maybe we need to talk about what do we need to record as a community, and then maybe that's one of the roles every week is to collect all that and say this is what we did, so we don't have to go back in time and do all this work every time we need to do this.
Well, the agendas have started to do that. You know, it's got the link to the agenda, the YouTube video previous week. It should all be there. Then if anybody takes that you know, as long as it's recorded there, then it can go into another major record of records, right?
Yeah, I was just saying somebody needs to take that and put it into that record of records so that it's done every week. And then we don't have to go back and do any of that work.
Yes, exactly. As long as it's someplace easy to find, then you can do it. But whether is that an extra step? I don't think so, because, you know, I think the agenda has the information and then it's got the recording. They're all connected. It's kind of like a little package. And then the big record has everything also in it, directory of it.
One thing we might be able to do is kind of decentralize that, and on demo day and reflection at the end of every sprint, it's everyone's responsibility to submit either there or asynchronously. What did you accomplish? And wrap it all up so that we have all of that at the end of every sprint. And then we don't have one person that's having to do that for everybody. It's up to everybody to just kind of contribute their contributions.
Well,
and then maybe there is an admin that wrangles those cats, but they're not responsible for actually creating all that data.
But also showing the way that it's being done too, right? You know, if I have this idea to write all this stuff on the agenda and then it goes in the record, if I'm the only one doing that, nobody knows that. But if I can demo it and say, this is why we put it here, because then it ends up over here, then that's perfect.
Yeah. That's why demos are important, to kind of show what you think is important.
Yes, yes. That is to demonstrate the throughput, that the reason why, like the why to do this is because it goes into the flow that ends up with, you know, remuneration and payment. Like that full chain should be really front and center, to give clarity to the whole, you know, process of participation. That we want to remunerate participation, and this is very clearly how it works, and that we tie the record keeping to it. It's just, it has to be a part of it. Otherwise, you know, it doesn't, you know, it requires, you know, that part of it is an important part of any type of community work, in a decentralized way. And that's why it's taking us a long time to figure it out, because this is a brand new innovative thing. I got some clarity on it the other day, going through one of the DAO's proposals, actually by Dan, who's here in Berlin, who's got a process for this decentralized, you know, record keeping and participation. I can't remember exactly the term about it, but I'm glad to work on this. This is really important.
No, it's a very good point, Newman, by the way, that we are working on something that is new. I mean, who works in a decentralized community without bosses and trying to build stuff, right? So this is why it's so complex and so this. But the only thing that I will recommend is, I mean, if we try to do everything, it's very, I mean, need to just one block at a time kind of get it somehow. Otherwise.
That's why we have goals, so we focus on these three and only these three. If someone's doing something that doesn't relate to these three, we should say, hey, that's not part of our goals this week.
Perfect.
We can do that next week. So that's kind of the purpose of the goals, is to keep us focused on a few things rather than all the things, because we do a lot here.
But also this methodology, I mean, it's incredible. I mean, I know it might be in different places and but putting it together for a decentralized community, it's incredible. Yeah.
You're talking about the sprint methodology?
For example, the sprint, the focus, I mean, there's so many parallel works and procedures that are being done. It's really, it's amazing. Just now how to make sense out of all of that, but it's complex. Definitely it's complex.
Yeah, lots of moving parts.
Yeah.
All right. We talked about finalizing Fund7 and accounting. The last one is clarity on impact onboarding and collaboration standards proposals. I know Cole and Daniel are working on the impact onboarding stuff.
Do you just want like a little rundown of what we've done, or kind of?
Or just make sure that we have user stories that relate to what you're doing.
Okay.
Sprint on that. And then also if you need help or if other people can contribute or participate,
Perfect. Okay, I'll make a couple of user stories for like the different content we're creating and
Okay.
Yeah, but also it's great. You started basically, you created a document already, right?
yeah, so we created a welcome packet. We edited the doc or the presentation we used for the impact lead generator and made it in both Spanish and English. And now we're gonna create some videos for people who can't go to these sessions and then kind of have it a little bit like some more voiceovers and have like some really cool animations and then we're gonna kind of try to combine the Spanish and the English slides together into one slide so we keep it not super like boring for people who are already in the ecosystem and it's not super repetitive and yeah, we had quite a few other comments I have to go through and we have a few Google form responses because we got some feedback as well, so I'll add those stories
Good.
and then try.
Cool. Yeah, you have the main story for creating the welcome packet, but if there's anything else, that'd be great.
Perfect.
And then if there's other opportunities for people to help or support you.
And
Just
yeah,
on that-
yeah, there definitely is.
Just on that point, Carl, what would be really interesting for people who are looking to onboard and learning how to onboard is there is if one of these I don't know, interviews or onboarding calls could be, with the permission obviously of the people who you're interviewing, could be recorded so that you understand how the flow of the conversation goes, what kind of topics come up, and how to follow up. That would be really useful if that's obviously appropriate with, you know, their privacy and etc. But if they were willing to do that, it'd be really useful so that people could use it as a reference.
Yeah, definitely. And we actually from yesterday's session recorded the entire like 30 to 40 minutes of talking afterwards and we just got tons of suggestions. I just don't speak Spanish, so it's a little hard for me to understand most of it, but Daniel actually was translating a lot of it for me and we got a lot of feedback. So we have one of those sessions recorded and that's a good point. I think we'll probably plan to record the rest of those so we can see like the responses and
what I meant was, like, let's say Yoram has a lead and he does a call with someone. If that was with obviously the permission that someone was talking to, if that meeting or if it was a Zoom or if it's a call could be recorded in some way so that someone who's a new onboarder could listen to that or see that and go, oh, do you know what? That's the kind of pattern, that's the kind of flow of conversation, and these are the ideas that generated as a reference. I mean, obviously, if that's not possible, you know, I know people aren't always open to be recorded. But if it was, that'd be great, just as a reference point for new people.
I totally understand you. I was just confused with the impact or onboarding and the lead generation stuff. But
oh, sorry,
yeah, I think
I got confused. Sorry.
no, I think that would be super helpful, and we should actually record those meetings if it's okay with the businesses and projects there because, like you said, like we're trying to like. Nori said this a while back, like we're trying to make it so the lead generators kind of can teach the next lead generators, and kind of make it like a super like circular process in a way. So I think that would super like help a lot with that.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you for that suggestion.
Awesome. Thanks, Cole. For the community collaboration standards, I'm going to kind of adopt the little fish model where they took the proposal, looked at the outcomes that are kind of needed, and then break that down into some high-level deliverable things. Like we promise a lot of documentation around meeting practices and agenda generation and how we collaborate and looking to how we can create all that. And it's really tied to our website project. But I want to make a proposal, and I'll create some user stories around that for the sprint just to kind of hammer out our plan. And then we can start to execute. A proposal I have is a lot of that is discovered through doing and figuring out what works and not. And we're running out of we're capping out our Fund 8 hub money at the beginning of October. So my recommendation is we take half of the community collaboration standards and use that $15,000 to fund hub operations for the next 4 months or through Fund 10 until Fund 11 starts so that we're able to continue what we're doing, continue refining that. And then the other half of the community collaboration standards budget is used for those discrete deliverables. So if people start to create documentation and build up all those pages on how we do things that we we reward that kind of work for the actual deliverables of the proposal, if that makes sense to everybody.
So that
just need to see something in writing.
Yeah.
See it broken down and see how that actually works out, but it sounds really good for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, what the only comment on that is, I mean, we have already already we did a lot of documentation and processes in the last months. New money around the events and the meetups, what Melanie started, and I mean, and what you did, I mean, this process, and I mean, there's already a lot of stuff. We can always generate more, but there's already a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we just need to tidy it up and put it in one place, which
exactly.
I think we're leaning towards our website. So yeah, I totally agree. We don't start now and develop it. There's a lot of work that we've done up until now. We just need to put it into a presentable format for the community.
Exactly. Yeah, and that can be the website, which will also serve us. That will be perfect. Beautiful.
And we're talking about the website as the presentable format for these collaboration standards and the other discrete artifacts of the proposal. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, and it'll give us a starting point for the website, and then later on we can talk about what else do we want to use the website for, and that'll be like we can do impact onboarding and put those materials on, or coordinating events, or have a blog, or whatever we want. But I think it'll be a good way to kick off the website by having a focus around at least putting our community collaboration standards on there.
Just feels so good, being here at this point of, post chaos, bringing it all together and then just starting to see it form over time into something that makes more sense, more usable. It's actually feels really good to be here. Yeah.
Can we go back to the summit for a few minutes, or those other topics?
Nope.
We're done one of the topic. Goals.
No, sorry, you can't go backwards. Let me look and find the reverse. Nope, there's no reverse.
You asked. No,
I wanted to speak about the C4C event in Lausanne.
Okay, so, let's talk about that.
Okay, good. Unless there is any.
So the break, it may not happen. Nori, how's the time? I'm not even watching it.
We have 8 minutes.
Yeah.
8 minutes.
Yeah. So basically, we have few sessions, but now I'm speaking of the session of Cardano4Climate. So the idea, my feeling is that a lot of people come into this event in order to connect, not to sit and hear long presentations, and they come to get inspired and connect. And I assume most of the people will be actually in action in the corridors and not in the session themselves. So that's one side. At the other side, there's a lot of people that might want to present there. So my idea is actually to make a shorter presentation session, not to have more people present in shorter presentations, like 5 minutes each. Have a lot of people this way. We guarantee that the room will be full. I know Mercy will be there, so we can even have Wada present.
Nice.
I know James will be there. We'll have Little Fish there. Cole and Raz will be there. I mean, so give a lot of people short 5 minutes.
Yeah, we're doing something similar at the Vancouver Summit. We're giving people 2 minutes and one slide, and their slide will come up. They have 2 minutes to introduce themselves and what their project is about, and then it's the next one. And the whole purpose is to let people who are there know about what's going on, and on high level, just say, oh, I want to talk to these people. And then after, everybody starts to connect and talk. So that's one of the formats we're using at the Vancouver Summit.
Perfect. So I'm going to use that format, and then people see basically what happened on Impact and Cardano. Perfect. So that's just wanted to kind of get it through you. And
on that point, I think visual representation is really important as well. For example, if they hear your speech, they see the slide, and if you're also wearing a C4C t-shirt with a snail, then they can easily they're like, oh yeah, look, that's the person. And also seeing a lot of people with snails on their fronts. It's like, it's really nice because it's like, I belong to this tribe, or these are my values, or something along those lines. So is there a place in the drive where there is a kind of, that logo is available so that people can print their own t-shirts and go to like summits wearing it? I mean, it's a conversational starter as well. But also, if anyone asks me, why is it a snail? What do I tell them?
That's because that was the picture I took and I used as a logo. It's the Fibonacci, the circle, the growth circle as well, slow and steady, very natural. There's two logos that we have. We have the picture of the original snail, and then we also have the blue one behind Yoram, which was created by Jem, taking the image of the snail and adding it to Cardano too as well. So but yeah, the image itself is mine, and you know, I'm thinking about, you know, how we can turn that into something for C4C, you know, whether it's an NFT or whatever, but an NFT shirt would be pretty awesome.
I mean,
how do we get that done? And how do we also, the other thing is, how do we get, if we do t-shirts, how do we make it ethical? Because t-shirts themselves,
oh, I mean, I don't suggest printing and producing t-shirts, having a so that people are aware within the community where they can go and get the logo from, and then they can choose their own supplier, like local one, so they cuts down on, you know, travel and transport. Yeah, or yeah, so
TP, you and I have to figure that out maybe somehow, how we do that.
User story.
Yeah.
As a user attending the conference, I would like to show off my membership to C4C to facilitate conversations and connection. The therefore criteria of success, something that's environmentally conscious way of showing blah 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 blah. Okay, we did a user story.
TP, you're going to be in Lausanne?
No, I'm going to be in London, so I need to reach out to them because there's this group that are doing it, and they're not actually just a social group. They're an app or a DApp on Cardano, and they happen to be London based. So they're organizing it, location to be announced, even though it's cutting it really fine. I'll probably reach out to them and say, like, you know, as opposed to just beers and general just like slaps on the back and appreciation of Cardano, if I could say a few words and point people as to why we are part of, you know, on Cardano, why we participate in processes like Catalyst, and what is specifically about, you know, where we fit on the ecosystem, and you know, bring attention to the fact that Cardano, there's a lot of positive impact communities and projects that are building off of it, and this is one that I'm very passionate about. And come speak to me, you know, come speak to me if you want to learn more. If you want one of these t-shirts, you know, or like, you know, just working with us. I think it's a really good way of visibility, raising awareness, and also for people to see the potentiality of what can happen on blockchain. Because you don't really see this in a lot of blockchains. I think Cardano is particularly unique in respect of having wonderful community being built on it, and networks starting to be built on the layers, which can, you know, can only lead to benefit really.
So the image, could we sell it as an NFT? This is just my question. Can we sell it as an NFT, as a type of a fundraiser? Is that too short term?
Oh, the time was really tight for that.
Yeah, so, but to create an NFT doesn't take much, but then a person has the rights to the image. Would that make sense or not?
We can speak to the NFT Guild. I'm not hugely au fait with that process, but
so we're down
it is interesting. I like the idea of like membership, so it's like,
yeah, maybe it's a great
left.
idea for the next big event. But you know what, sometimes these things happen though, Nori, right? Sometimes, you know, like it seems like a crazy idea and getting it done might work. But TP,
I mean, yeah, we can have support from Shlomo if we want for that, but we need to move fast. And yeah.
How do you mean
I mean, in terms of we need design or stuff like this, or where to buy, and no.
But that T-shirt and stuff like that, like TP said, would be somebody takes the image themselves and creates their own. In Vancouver, you know, we find a local supplier. We do
Your own, yeah.
you know,
no,
20 T-shirts and sell them.
I have to jump off in 1 minute to another call. So
let's wrap this up.
Yep.
But sorry.
So break next week or not?
Break next week. At least for community meetings. Next Monday is a working session. If you want to hang out and work together, I think that's still valid. And then Friday, we should probably do a demo and a reflection of what's been going on. But yeah, if we put the word out to say there's no Wednesday meetup, we can give the community a break and then.
Yeah, just work on sprints.
I'm okay with no Wednesday meetup.
See you.
Yeah. Bye.
Take it easy, Yoram.
Bye.
Can we decide?
And you know, I'd be around to do a meetup myself, you know, regeneration opportunity for Cardano, anybody that just wants to hang out, chit chat, no agenda. You know, I think I'd like to do something like that. Nothing planned. Doesn't take energy on Tuesday. Just show up. Whoever shows up, we talk.
Okay.
So I
then
think
we
that's
don't have to message much. And then we'll just leave the meetings there, but we're not going to really plan much for them.
No, don't plan anything unless there's something important that needs to be said. You know, we'll just use it as a connecting point. Okay.
And Newman and
change it up a little bit.
Are going to be gone next week, so
I have to hop off onto another call as well, but have a great rest of your guys' day, and
okay, thank you, Cole.
Thank you, Cole.
Talk to you soon, everybody.
And let's say goodbye to YouTube. If you've been listening on YouTube, please like and subscribe. We're almost to 100 members. Come back and see us. We may be here. Click the button down below. Links in the description
below.
Notification bell. Come and see us on Telegram, Discord. Come and see us. Come and see us. Come and see us. Okay. Bye-bye.
See you later.